Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We're getting ready for week number 10 for NFL predictions as well as touchdown parlays. So you guys could run to your local casinos and sports books as well as going on your phone with your sports apps. Anyway, I want to give you this edge for free. But before we get started, do me a favor, people. Just hit that like and subscribe button for me, please, and leave your comments below. It's so important that I get up close and personal with you guys throughout the season, playoffs, as well as the Super Bowl. So without any further ado, let's get started, okay? So now the first game up, it's going to be the Raiders at the Denver Broncos. Guys, we all know that if you're going to play the Denver Broncos, this is a tough unit, tough defense. And if you don't have a good offense, you're going to struggle. And that's how I feel about the the Las Vegas Raiders. Their offense is struggling. Geno Smith, obviously, he's not having the greatest of years. Brock Bowers is, however, back, so you could pick him as a touchdown parlay for the Raiders. But they also traded away Jacoby Myers to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So the offense that was struggling is now going to struggle even more this weekend, okay? So Thursday night, we're going to moneyline the Broncos. The Broncos offense is struggling as well, but what's the difference? They have a tough defense, okay? They have an offense capable of scoring lots and lots of points. They're just a talented offense with Bo Nix, R.J. Harvey, J.K. Dobbins, the running backs. Then at wide receivers, you got Marvin Mims, right? You got Troy Franklin, okay? You also have Cortland Sutton. And then it's going to go up against a very weak secondary of the Las Vegas Raiders, okay? So, guys, it's a no-brainer, right? All the money's going to roll to the Denver Broncos, so be careful with that. So if you want to pick some touchdown props from this game, you go with any one of those players that I just mentioned on the Denver side, okay? Now, as far as the Raiders go, I think this game's going to get played very close and very tight, okay? Rivalry games, especially within the division, always tends to play out this way. There is a high spread of -9.5 for the Denver Broncos, but I think I'm going to lean with the +9.5, okay? I just feel that all the money's going to roll with the Denver Broncos. And the over and under at 41.5, I think I'm going to go a little bit over. I think the fact that they lost Jacoby Myers, I think Geno Smith is going to rely heavily in that running game with Ashton Gianti, okay? He's just going to have to play better. I haven't been, very impressed with his running this year. Maybe it's a Raiders thing. Maybe they haven't really put him in the best position, okay? So it's unfair to say that about Ashton Gianti, okay? But I wasn't big on him coming out in the draft. Anyway, I'm going to take the over 41.5. I believe the Raiders can get some points out of this. Even if they're missing Jacoby Myers, you have Trey Tucker, okay? You have Brock Bowers. I don't know if Michael Mayer, the other tight end, is going to play. But I just feel this game's going to be tight. It's a rivalry game, guys. I don't think the Raiders are going to embarrass themselves, although there have been a couple of occasions if Geno Smith plays poorly, then this game could really get out of hand early. So go with the Broncos, money line it, take that +9.5, okay? I think the Raiders will hang in there. Then we have the other game it's going to be a tough bet, guys, because we're traveling to London. Okay, we're going to travel to London, and I hate this about the NFL, putting teams in a position where they lose a home field advantage. If you got to go to London, there is no home field advantage, okay? You have the Falcons supposedly at the Colts. That should be a game in Indianapolis, okay? Colts coming off a tough loss against the Pittsburgh Steelers. No running game whatsoever. I think Jonathan Taylor, rebounds in this game, okay? I think he comes back from that game. I expect as a touchdown prop for Jonathan Taylor to at least get 2 scores this weekend, okay? And I also believe Tyler Warren will probably find the end zone. This is a matchup in which the Falcons, terrible loss at New England, by the way. Michael Penix, he's up and down this year, right? but he has found a favorable target, and that's Drake London at wide receiver. You could take him as a touchdown prop, as well as maybe Kyle Pitts. And you know what? Maybe Kyle Pitts is the better one because the Jets traded Sauce Gardner, okay, to the Indianapolis Colts to upgrade their secondary. So maybe, I don't know if he's even going to be able to get on the field quick enough to make an impact. But look for the Colts, Jonathan Taylor as a touchdown prop. Maybe Tyler Warren, okay, or maybe a Daniel Jones sneak in the end zone. And then for the Falcons, you're going to have maybe Michael Penix throwing to his favorite target, Drake London. Don't know if that's going to be a good matchup this weekend now that they have Sauce Gardner. Kyle Pitts should be a guy that I would take as a touchdown prop along with Bijan Robinson. But overall, I think the Colts will rebound. I think that, it's tough to travel from Indianapolis to London. Same goes with the Falcons. Just a bad loss last week against New England, right? Their field goal kicker got cut. All right, he missed the extra point. So money line the Colts in this game, okay? Do I feel good about it? No, I don't, because both teams are traveling out there and things are going to work out strangely for both teams. Take the Colts. The over and under is at 48.5. I believe it should be over 48.5. I'm going to take the over on it. I think both teams will be able to get some points. But I'm going to take that plus 5.5. I think the Falcons defense will find ways to get to Daniel Jones, maybe mix it up in that secondary, get a couple of picks out of it, okay? But that's the way I'm going to roll. And then we're going to go to the next game. We got the Cleveland Browns at the New York Jets. Guys, the Jets had a fire sale this weekend. Okay, they just got rid of Quinnen Williams, Sauce Gardner. All right, this is a very good defense that lost two of their best players right now. Okay, and basically offensively, they only have Breece Hall. I don't know if Garrett Wilson's going to play. He might. He had 10 days off. I don't know if that hamstring's healed enough. Justin Fields is an up-and-down quarterback. I put him in the same category as maybe like a Bryce Young or Tua Tagovailoa, right? Because he struggles at the position. Let's just face it, okay? He had that big game against Cincinnati, but that's a soft defense. He's going to be going up against a better defense in the Cleveland Browns and Myles Garrett, who had a 5-sack game the last time we saw him. Who knows what he's going to do to the Jets, okay? Cleveland has a good defense. They're okay on offense. Dylan Gabriel, obviously the rookie, but he does play better than Tua Tagovailoa. I'll say that, okay? He has a little bit of Marcus Mariota in him, okay? He can scramble as well. The short passing game is going to be tough for the Jets I think the Jets are just going to struggle defensively without those two good players that they traded away. And I think the Jets offense is going to be dependent on Breece Hall. Browns have a good defense, good secondary. Myles Garrett. I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns. I could have gone either way. It's going to be a sloppy game, but I just think the Browns will get the victory here. Excuse me. We'll get the victory here. Let's take the under of 36.5, okay? And let's go with the plus 1.5. Can't believe the Jets are favored into this game. As of Wednesday, the Browns are the underdogs. So I don't know. Maybe Vegas is trying to trip some of these sports bettors up. I don't know. All right, let's go to the next game. I believe we have the Saints traveling to the Carolina Panthers. Yet another game. Oh, by the way, let me go back to the touchdown props for the Browns and Jets. Honestly, if Chris Jenkins was going to play in this game for the Cleveland Browns, I would take him as the only touchdown prop that I can trust. As far as the Jets, it would be just Breece Hall. I really can't trust no one else for those touchdown props between the Browns and Jets. All right, let's move on to the Panthers. I believe it's the Saints traveling to the Panthers. Excuse me on that. I'm trying to rush this, So the Panthers, I'm going to money line. I'm going to take the under of 39.5, and then I'm going to do a plus 5.5. I think the Saints are good on defense. They're going to hang in there. They did trade away one of their weapons, Rashid Shaheed, the wide receiver. That's going to make it rough for Tyler Shuck, the rookie. They don't have good quarterback play right now. He is a rookie. And then his backup, Spencer Rattler, if he ever gets in, he's just not that good of a quarterback also, okay? So the Saints are really depleted now on offense, okay? They're going to depend on Alvin Kamara, Taysom Hill, maybe Juwan Johnson. As far as the touchdown prop, I really don't know. I put them in the same category as the Browns and Jets. If I had to choose one, maybe Chris Olaf. Maybe Chris Olaf. But the Panthers, I think they're just more talented at the moment. But the Panthers are Jekyll and Hyde, right? One weekend, they'll look great like they did when they blew out the Atlanta Falcons, right? And then they took care of the Dolphins, right? And then all of a sudden they get rocked the following week, right? So look, they're coming off a big victory against the Green Bay Packers. So they're looking legit. You beat the Packers on the road, yeah, you should be considered legit as a playoff contending team. I like what they did against the Green Bay Packers, but this is the Saints. Panthers are going to have to prove to me that they can take care of the Saints. Okay, the Saints are not that good of a football team. So this worries me because sometimes teams come off a big high of beating a good opponent, and then they just lose concentration about the upcoming opponent. Maybe they already chalked it up as a win, and that could be a negative. Be careful with this game, guys. But I'm a money line the Panthers. Take the under of 39.5 and then take that plus 5.5. Okay, I'm looking at my whiteboard that I'm going to show you guys as soon as I'm done with telling you how I feel. As far as touchdown props in that game, I told you I'll go with Rico Dowdle. Okay, I don't trust who goes into the end zone. One weekend it will be Xavier Leggett or Ted McMillan at wide receiver, and then they'll surprise you with Chuba Hubbard. So this weekend I'll play it safe. Stay with Rico Dowdle. Don't choose anyone else. As far as the Saints, like I told you, Chris Olaf, and that's it. I put them in the same category as the Jets and the Browns, teams like that where you don't want to wreck your touchdown parlay by guessing who's going to get in the end zone. How you can fix that is when you go to the analytics like I do and you look at the secondaries, the rush defense, the passing defense and stuff like that, that'll help you determine which way you want to go with a touchdown prop. Okay, so maybe you can do that. But I did the homework for you guys, and I told you already who I would pick. Okay, next game, we got the good game. Probably the best game of the weekend, or one of the best. You have the New England Patriots traveling to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Wow, you talk about a good game. Now, people are going to say, well, the Patriots were helped by a soft schedule. Guess what, guys? The Patriots don't make that schedule, okay? The NFL does based on what they did the previous season, okay? But they have shown that they're legit. They beat the Buffalo Bills, okay? They beat the Falcons last week, okay? So they are taking care of business, New England. And Drake May is playing hell of a good football at the quarterback position, and he's in the conversation of possible MVP. But let's pump those brakes, right? Let's look at what Tampa Bay's going to offer. A better defense. I think they're a better defense than the Atlanta Falcons, okay? They got some studs over there, okay? And they're better offensively, okay? New England has a good offense as well, but they're going to have to match points with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, when it comes to touchdown props, you could go with any of the Tampa Bay players, right? You have Rashad White. Don't know if Bucky Irving's going to play, but you got receivers, right? Tez Johnson. You got Ibuka, who's probably Rookie of the Year, okay? And you got yourself another wide receiver, Cameron Johnston, and also Sterling Shepard. And if you want to go with the tight end, Kate On. So those are some good choices for you guys. Patriots are no better, right? They have a lot of good players. Kayshon Boutte, Stephon Diggs, Mac Hollins at wide receiver. You go with tight ends like Hunter Henry, Austin Hooper, right? They got two good running backs in Travion Henderson as well as Ramondre Stevenson. Don't know if he's going to play because he was injured. Again, those would be my touchdown props. But let's moneyline the Buccaneers in a tough battle. We're going to go with the over 48.5. I think the Patriots are going to have to step up that offense this weekend. Possibly a lot of running in this game. Okay, so be aware of that. But we're going to take the minus 2.5. Like I said, right, in a tough game, you go with the home team. And what does the home team do? They get that field goal advantage. And because it's at minus 2.5, that's why you're going to take the Buccaneers at the minus 2.5, okay? All right, let's move on to the next game. We got the Baltimore Ravens heading to the Minnesota Vikings. Guys, yet another tough matchup. Touchdown props in this games. I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, Derrick Henry. Those three I will touch. I don't know if Lamar will be able to throw to any of the receivers you favored, right? I haven't seen much of Zay Flower this season as far as trying to get the football in the end zone. Rashad Bateman's a good choice too, right? You have Isaiah Likely. And every now and then you get kind of tripped up when they bring in a guy like Devontae Walker. I mean, this is a guy who's in the plus, 700s. He's worth a lot of money. So if you want to take a risk and take a guy like that, because in the beginning of the season, Lamar was going to this guy. He was getting in the end zone. I haven't heard from him since, excuse me. I don't know if he's on injury reserve. As far as the Vikings, you may want to go with Aaron Jones, who could surprise this weekend with his running and passing receiving abilities. But I'm going to take Justin Jefferson or Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, and Jordan Mason as touchdown props. Even JJ McCarthy is showing a little bit of Lamar Jackson running around there, right? But this is a tough game to bet. I could go with the Ravens or I could go with the Vikings. Guys, you use that judgment for yourself. Me, the way I saw the Vikings take care of business last weekend in a stunning upset over the Detroit Lions at Detroit, that cost me some money. I think the Vikings, I'm going to money line. I think they look different now with JJ at quarterback. I'm going to go over that 47.5. I'm going over. There's going to be scoring aplenty, just like in that Detroit game. And I'm going to go with the plus 4.5. I think the Ravens are going to hang in there. I think eventually a turnover, and Lamar's capable of turning that ball over, so is JJ. But I think Lamar will probably be pressed into getting a turnover. I think that Brian Flores defense is going to come with a couple of blitzes. Maybe they're going to confuse him, maybe not. But it's going to force the Ravens. If the Ravens lose this game, it'll be because of turnovers. Trust me on that, okay? But again, you could go with either or, but I'm a money line of Vikings. Let's move on to the next game, guys. We got the Buffalo Bills. Okay, they looked good last week against the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to be traveling to Miami. Excuse the noise outside. That's construction outside my house. Okay, they're doing something with the trees out there. So if you're hearing that like buzzing noise behind me, it's because of that. Anyway, let's get back. Touchdown props in this game, aplenty. But for the Miami Dolphins, you may want to just stay with Devon A-Chain. Jalen Waddle would be a risk to take, okay? Because Tua is just not that good of a quarterback. Let's face it, folks. This guy had one good game so far this season, and that was, 2 weeks ago. And this minus 9.5, it's kind of high, but I am going to go with the minus 9.5. I think Miami trading Jalen Phillips. He was a threat at outside linebacker. He was a defensive player, depletes that defense quite some bit. Now they're going to go up against a talented offense like Buffalo with James Cook, with Josh Allen. You got Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox. You got Shakir at wide receiver. You got Keon Coleman, who needs to step up at some point, right? These are the touchdown props that you could go with, but I'm going to stick with the main guys, Josh Allen, James Cook, and Dalton Kincaid. They seem to find the end zones every week. We're going to money line the Bills. We're going to take the under of 49.5. Why? Because I don't think Miami's going to get into that end zone as much. I could be wrong, but it's because of the quarterback player of Tua Tagovailoa. So let's move on with that, guys. Let me just pause this a second. Hold on. All right, guys. Thank you for being patient. I just had to make sure I have my notes properly in front of me, as well as what we have on that whiteboard that I will show you immediately after. Okay, we got the Giants traveling to the Chicago Bears. This is a game in which Caleb Williams has to win. I mean, if you're going to be a contending football team, and yes, fantastic comeback against the lowly Cincinnati defense there, okay? Listen, it was still impressive because Joe Flacco came in that game with 2 minutes left, down 41-27, managed to take the lead with 50-plus seconds left on the clock. Caleb comes back, and in my head, I'm thinking the pressure's too much for Caleb, right? No, the guy ends up going downfield, beating the Bengals for a victory. Great run and catch by great catch and run, I should say, by Colston Loveland, the tight end, who's starting to wake up and get in that end zone. I would pick him in this game for a touchdown prop, as well as number 25, Kyle Monaghy. I believe that's Monaghy. Kyle Monaghy, I believe is his name. I like Roman Oduse also in this game, if I said that correctly, right? And DJ Moore. So those are touchdown props I would go with. With the Giants, Jackson Dart, running ability. Okay, maybe Tyrone Tracy or Devin Singletary out of the backfield. They have really, after losing Cam Scatterbo and Malik Neighbors, they're down to maybe Wandale Robinson, Darius Slayton. Those could be touchdown props, but again, I don't want to mess up my touchdown parlay. I may want to stay away from the Giants. If I wanted to feel safe, it's going to be Wandale Robinson. Because there are times I'm watching the Giants play. One weekend it'll be Daniel Bellinger, the tight end, catching 2 touchdowns, and then the following week, he doesn't even catch a pass. Then it could be Theo Johnson. Then the following week, he's non-existent. And then it's a little Jordan Humphrey. He disappears, right? So I'm just going to stick with Wandale Robinson as a touchdown prop. With the Bears, I just think that this is a game. Okay, you're in playoff contention now. Okay, you're right in the mix. These are the games you have to win, Chicago. So Caleb Williams, if you're going to grow as a quarterback, you got to show me something this week. And I'm going to take the Bears as the money line. I'm going to take the under 48.5. I think most of the points will come from Chicago. They're playing in front of their home crowd. Their home crowd is excited after what they did to the Bengals, even though the Bengals don't have a great defense. And that's another thing. Giants are a much better defense than the Cincinnati Bengals. So this is going to be interesting to see how Caleb wins. But we'll take that under 48.5. We're going to take the minus 3.5. I always say to you that the home field team has a field goal advantage. There's your 3. And that half a point will come because of turnover by the Giants or something. We'll give them that extra push. Maybe a touchdown out of it, right? Let's go to the next game. Guys, this is a tough pick all around. Jacksonville Jaguars. Overtime win against the Raiders last weekend, all right? Raiders pretty much handed them the game. I mean, they should have kicked that tying field goal, right? Maybe the outcome's a little bit different, but kudos to the Jaguars to win. Now they travel to a tougher defense, the Houston Texans. If you think they struggled with Max Crosby and the Raiders, what do you think is going to happen in Houston? Unfortunately, Houston doesn't have an offense. Outside of Nico Collins and maybe, Dalton Schultz or Woody Marks, C.J. Stroud and that offense has not done well this year. They have I think the Texans have the best defense in the NFL outside of Denver, in which they lost to last weekend. Just an outstanding defense, and unfortunately, they remind me of the Pittsburgh Steelers from a few years ago, where they had a terrible offense and a great defense, and they couldn't do anything with it. And I think the Texans are in that same category. But I'm going to take a chance. It's at home, okay? And I'm going to take the Houston Texans to win this game. I'm a money liner. I'm going to go with the under of 38.5, and I'm going to take them as a minus 1.5. They are the favorite to win, which is kind of weird. Vegas might change that to a pick-em game as Sunday comes. But I'm not happy with the quarterback play of Trevor Lawrence. If you're a Jacksonville fan, losing Travis Hunter, however, you did trade for Jacoby Myers. Don't know how quick he'll pick up this offense. You're going to be left with an inconsistent Brian Thomas. You're going to be left with Parker Washington, Brenton Strange at tight end. You do have a good running tandem of Travis Etienne and Bashir too. Okay, so this is where you guys are going to have to decide whether you want to roll with the Texans at home or you want to take the Jaguars on the road. Me, personally, I'm just going to take the Texans. As far as touchdown props in this game, for the Texans, it's either going to be Nico Collins or Woody Marks. Dalton Schultz would be the perfect guy for this game, right? I think both defenses are going to hold their own. But I think a guy like Dalton Schultz can sneak out of that secondary and catch a touchdown there, right? And then you have the Jaguars. You got Travis Etienne. You got to give him the ball. If you're going to win this game, this guy's going to have to be the guy that gets you to victory. Because if you're going to throw the ball around, and that's a good secondary in Houston, then I don't trust Trevor Lawrence, and this is why I'm going with the Texans. Let's move on. We got the impressive Cardinals who beat the Dallas Cowboys. Like, how impressive is 27 points against a Dallas defense that gives up about 30 to 40 a game? I don't know what you call that, but Cardinals are going to start Jacoby Brissett over Kyler Murray, who is healthy at the moment. So that in itself, woof, you talk about question marks. Like, we're paying all this money for a guy that's going to eat the bench because the other guy, Jacoby Brissett, gives you a better chance to get into the playoffs because, and you heard it for the last 2 weeks, Jacoby's just a better passer than Kyler Murray. That's not what you want to hear, okay? If you're a Cardinals fan. But anyway, Trey McBride seems to be the touchdown prop for the Cardinals this week. I don't know what you're going to get out of your running backs. Although they were impressive, DeMarcado, I don't know if he's going to drop the ball before he gets in the end zone. So, and I'm just being funny on that. But anyway, Seattle just made a major trade to get Rashid Shaheed from the New Orleans Saints. That's a good pickup. That adds more pressure to the defensive side of the Arizona Cardinals. I just think the Cardinals don't have enough offense to hang with the Seahawks. Seahawks, money line, take the over of 44.5. Go with the -1.5. They are the favorites. Look for touchdowns from Zach Charbonnet or Kenneth Walker. I think they're going to try a little bit on that running side. Look for Jackson Najigba Smith or is it Jackson Smith Najigba? I don't want to really, I don't want to be disrespectful. Look for touchdowns from him. AJ Barner, those are good touchdown props. Okay, guys, let's move on. We have the Lions, and they're going to travel to a really injury-ridden Washington Commanders team. Guys, this is a no-brainer. Money line, the Detroit Lions. Touchdown props, choose and pick the players you think are going to get in the end zone. Don't know how healthy Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to be for this weekend. He did get hurt in that Minnesota game. But Jameson Williams, the wide receiver, woke up last week and finally got in the end zone. You can still pick Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Sam Laporta, who's very impressive, okay, for touchdown props. So we moneyline the Lions. We're going to take the over 49.5, okay, and we're going to do the -8.5, okay. So they're playing Washington. I would have taken the +8.5 because it was at home. But Jaden Daniels is not going to play. It's going to be Marcus Mariota. It's a whole different playbook, right? And then you have, he's mobile like Jaden. You could really stick with the same playbook, but he's not the Jaden Daniels that we know. Jaden Daniels is an explosive playoff. I hope he heals. I hope he gets better. Hope to see him next season fully healthy. That dislocated elbow, I would not take a chance in any time during the rest of the season to come in and play. I think he's gone for the season. They just have too many injuries, guys. Let's just face it. Touchdown props, maybe is Ja'Cory Merritt ever going to get in the end zone? I see this guy running around. Don't see him getting in the end zone. Zach Ertz would be my only touchdown prop in this game. So let's move on from this game, okay? Next, we got the LA Rams, okay? Heading to the San Francisco 49ers rivalry game. That's why I'm going to give the +3.5. This is a tough bet. We're going to stay with the under 49.5 because Robert Saleh's defense always plays well against the Rams. And then we're going to money line the Rams, only because they're more healthier than the San Francisco 49ers, even though the 49ers did beat them at LA earlier this season and were very impressive with Mac Jones at quarterback. I don't know if Brock Purdy is going to play this game. But if it is Brock Purdy, I'm still taking the Rams. But even with Mac Jones, who's kind of come down a little bit, I'm still going to take the Rams over the San Francisco 49ers. Props for the touchdown parlays, just Christian McCaffrey or George Kittle. The secondary, they could exploit Kendrick Bourne. He had a hell of a party the last time against the Rams, so he could be a good one there. With the Rams, you got your normal Kyren Williams, okay? You got Blake Corum. You got Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, and a plethora of tight ends like Tyler Higbee, Kobe Parkinson, guys like that, that could get in the end zone, right? So let's take the Rams here and let's see what happens because right now I feel like the injuries are starting to catch up to the 49ers. They did beat the Giants, but those are the Giants. This is a better team than Rams. It's a no-brainer. I think we know that the Rams will win this game. Next game, not a tough game, but a good game. This is going to be the Steelers coming off a very, very impressive win over the Indianapolis Colts. How the hell did they were able to stop Jonathan Taylor? In my book, probably the MVP of the league, as well as Daniel Jones, co-MVPs there, right? I don't know how the Steelers pulled that rabbit out of the hat, but they managed to beat the Colts. They looked impressive on defense, okay? Score should have been a lot higher. Should have been probably 30-17 Steelers victory. But fumble late in the game, and Colts managed to get a field goal out of it. It became 27-20. We're gonna money line the Steelers. Touchdown props will probably come from one of the tight ends or Jalen Warren, DK Metcalf, maybe, not so sure, but we know that Aaron's going to throw 2 touchdowns. We just don't know to what tight end or to what receiver. We're going to take the over 45.5. I think Aaron Jones is going to have to keep up with Justin Herbert, okay? But here's the thing about the Chargers, and this is why I'm rolling with the Steelers, even though that's my favorite football team. We're going to take that plus 2.5. Because I think, right now the Steelers are the underdog, so you have to take the plus 2.5 if you money line the Steelers. But I think the problem with the Chargers, they did make a trade to get Trevor Penny from the New Orleans Saints, okay, to upgrade that offensive line. They have too many injuries there. And I think the pressure is going to fall on Justin Herbert this week. The running game, they're depleted with running backs. They're down to Vidal and I think Haskins. I'm not sure. But they do have good wide receivers. This is going to be a game where if the Steelers are going to win, they're going to have to blitz. And they're going to have to play solid the way they did against Indianapolis. To axe that of the Steelers for 2 weeks in a row, wow, that's a tough task. That's a tough task. But I think they can do it. The Chargers' offensive line is depleted. Steelers, you got to go after their weakness. You got Highsmith. You got T.J. Watt. You got Herbert. Okay, you got blitzing linebackers like Patrick Queen. You got Cam Haywood up the middle, Keanu Benton, Derek Harmon. I just think it'll be too much. Money line the Steelers and take that plus 2.5 and take the over of 45.5. I just think Justin Herbert, you're asking too much with a depleted O-line. Just don't see the Chargers getting this game. And finally, we have our Monday nighter, right? Here we go. It's the Philadelphia Eagles at the Green Bay Packers. Yet another tough bet, and I'll tell you why. That was a horrible, horrible injury that the Green Bay Packers suffered with Tucker Kraft. I think this team is now, in my opinion, losing Tucker Kraft probably cost them a chance to get to the Super Bowl. Seriously, I really believe that. Now, losing to the Panthers, I don't know what that was all about. I mean, that was poor play by Jordan Love. I mean, the running game, you got Josh Jacobs back there. You got Emmanuel Wilson. You guys have to start running the football consistently. You got Micah Parsons on defense. Come on, guys. Wake up. If you're going to be that team, you got to do it from both sides. And right now, I'm not seeing it. I'm not going to blame the defense for losing that game against the Panthers. Anytime you can hold an opponent, especially in today's game, under 20 points, you should win the game. But that Packers offense now lost Tucker Kraft. They look lost against the Panthers. Jordan Love is still throwing lollipops. You're not going to get it done that way. And I think they're going to lose this weekend to the Eagles. I'm a money line the Eagles. I'm taking the over 44.5, something like a 27-23 tight game. And I'm going to take that plus 2.5 because I believe the Eagles are the underdogs in this game. I don't know how that happened. I believe they're the underdogs. Let me check my books. Yes, they're the underdogs. So I don't know what Vegas was thinking. If I'm going to get a touchdown prop from the Packers, I'm just going to stick with Josh Jacobs. I'm not going to ruin my touchdown parlay by picking other players Romeo Doubs, okay. Maybe you take a chance and take tight end Luke Musgrave. He's a good tight end. And I'm pretty sure he could pick up the slack. But losing Tucker Kraft? Wow. That's a blow. I don't think they may even make the Super Bowl. You need Tucker Kraft to get to the Super Bowl, guys. The Eagles, Saquon Barkley. You got A.J. Brown, who did not get traded, which is shocking. But it's a good thing. They got themselves weapons. They got themselves a better defense. They got Jalen Phillips. Okay, they got Michael Carter II from the Jets. Okay, and they made another trade to get another corner. Trying to think of his name, but I'm having a brain fart now. But the defense is improving. They get Nolan Smith back. I just think it's too much. I think touchdown props from Jalen Hurts, tush push, Saquon Barkley, maybe an A.J. Brown touchdown, Devontae Smith, or Dallas Goedert, maybe Dallas Goedert. So that's how I'm rolling this weekend. I gave you my predictions of who's going to win. I gave you the money lines, the over and unders. I gave you my spreads, how I feel. Now it's time to show that whiteboard. I already told you guys the touchdown parlays for this weekend. Let me show you the whiteboard, how we're rolling, and I hope you guys will be able to run to your sports books, your local sports books and casinos, and on your phone on the sports apps, and hit these numbers because we got to win this weekend, right? Stunning upsets last weekend, Steelers over Colts, Vikings over Lions, right? Panthers over the Packers really ruined a lot of people's spreadsheets and parlays or whatever they had going, right? You got to win big. You got to bet small and win big. And some guys were betting big and got hammered with those upsets, okay? So let me show you the whiteboard. Let me pause this for a second. And this way, I'll put my notes on the side. And this way, you guys can copy what's on that whiteboard. All right, guys, there you have it. Those are my predictions. I gave you the names of what I feel will be on the touchdown parlays as well. I'm hoping you guys really do well this weekend. We took some major losses last week with some stunning upsets. Okay. But overall, we want to win. You want to bet small to win big. But if you want to bet differently and bet big to win bigger, then go right ahead, guys. But you have to be careful as a gambler, right? You have to be very careful. It's been a strange season, okay, from the minute go. Didn't seem to be calming a little bit down now with special teams units, right? Even though we did have a block punt for a touchdown on Monday night. Those are props that you just take a risk on. Will there be a touchdown with the defense, a special teams touchdown? I mean, those are rare props that will win you a lot of money because they're on like the plus 3,000 or something like that on your parlay sheet. But anyway, I've been successful as well. I've taken some losses as well. Okay, and I know that you guys are going through it with me. So when I win, you guys win. When I lose, you guys lose. And I'm sorry for that, right? But we're trying our best. But you guys have to hit that like and subscribe button. And you got to leave me comments below. Guys, I need viewers, but I need comments as well because I make mistakes as well. Sometimes I mispronounce names. Sometimes I mispronounce games that are to be, like, let's say the Giants are playing the Bears at Chicago, and I'll say something like, oh, Chicago's going to be playing the Giants, and no one knows, wait, are they traveling or are they at home? So when I make mistakes, I expect you guys to hit that commentary button, okay? But more importantly, guys, we're here to make money, right? Bet small and win big. Casino Pete wants you guys to win. So, guys, without any more rambling, I hope you guys do well this weekend. I wish you the best. And I hope that come week 11 or before week 11, we could discuss how well we did the prior weekend, okay? I'm always optimistic about our chances. I'm like I said, I give you this edge for free. I do all the work, I do all the homework, and you guys will be able to capitalize on what I give you. Always pay attention. You can always go back to the video. You can always stop it, pause, do whatever. Write down what I'm putting down, guys. Pay attention when it comes to touchdown parlays, the guys that I'm picking for those games, all right? Stay away from bad touchdown teams like the Jets, the Browns, the Panthers, the Saints, even Miami. I mean, outside of Devon A-Chain, you don't know who's going to score. So stay away. When you're building your touchdown parlay, stay away from teams like that. Now if you want to take a risk and say, well, I study too, Pete. Okay, I study also. I know exactly what defenses they're going to be going up against. I know who's going to score. Then fine, you could do that as well. I'm not telling you not to. I'm just giving you advice. And advice is the best thing to take, especially when you're a professional sports gambler or you're an amateur sports gambler like me. Okay, I love casinos. That's why I'm called Casino Pete. I play slots. I play table games. I play craps, baccarat, blackjack. But what I love the most is when it comes to the NFL is the sports betting behind it. Guys, this is what I love to do. And if I'm making money, I want you guys to make money. So guys, hit the like and subscribe button for the 4,000 times already that I repeated it. And leave your comments, all right? I want to hear from you guys. I'm up close and personal with you guys throughout the season, the playoffs, the Super Bowl, okay? So I want to hear from you guys, okay? My edge is free. You don't have to pay anybody to get an edge. And guys, that's another thing. If you're out there paying someone to give you an edge in sports betting, then you shouldn't be sports betting. You should do that on your own. Trust your eyes, trust your gut. I guarantee you're just as good as those professional sports gamblers who claim they hit 70 to 90% of the time. No such thing. Okay? At best, I'm a 57%. And so far this year, I think I've hit about 52%. All right? A little bit above average, or a little bit above half, I should say. And I got the numbers to prove it. At the end of the year, I'm going to be posting up. I should have posted up what I've been doing so far because we're already past the halfway point. But at the end of the season, you're going to see my numbers, and you can always go back to the videos if you think I'm bullshitting you guys, which I'm not. So, guys, good luck this weekend. Have a lot of fun, and I'll see you next weekend. Good luck. Make some money, guys. That's what we're here to do, okay? Stay tuned for next weekend, week 11, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.